If you're a designer, sooner or later you're going to have to deal with PDFs and you want to make the workflow as efficient and fast as possible. Now, over the years, I tried several PDF softwares and editors, and I tried all sorts of different workflows. And in this video, I want to give you some tips and advice. What are the best solutions out there, both for free and premium, in order to deal with PDFs in a fast and efficient way? Now, the key is efficiency in order to make the most out of your time. And by the way, before we get started, I also want to remind you that in the link in the description, you're going to find a free course on how to get started in UI UX design. And I myself, I'm a UI UX designer with over 8 years of experience. In the past 6 years, I worked entirely remotely with over 40 clients from all around the world. So if you're interested in learning more about this field, feel free to check out the link in the description. But now, without further ado, let's get started into the video. In this video, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know in order to master PDFs, also known as portable document formats. Now, you're going to deal with PDFs eventually, and in multiple forms. This can be contracts, this can be design work, or even presentations and just miscellaneous work. And usually those aren't really the most interesting part of your design job. So you just want to get them out of the way as soon as you can and in an easy and fast way. Now, I tried many different softwares to manage PDFs, to transform PDFs, to edit and create. My favorite one by far is PDF Expert. Now, you also have the second option, which is actually Acrobat Reader, which is excellent for creating, managing, and editing PDFs. The only downside is that you have to pay a monthly fee. So if you're up for it, my best recommendation is to actually go with Acrobat Reader because it's a really good software directly from Adobe. But in my personal opinion, I think PDF Expert can do pretty much all the things which I personally need in my day-to-day. And you only have to pay a initial upfront fee, and that's it. You have it for life. Now, I can't really remember the price at the moment. I think it's around $70, but prices may change. But you also have a free trial, which you can have. And by the way, I'm not affiliated with PDF Expert in no way, shape, or form. I don't have an affiliate link. I think they have an affiliate program, but I can't really be bothered to subscribe. I just genuinely like the software, and I'm also going to leave a overview and walkthrough of PDF Expert, which I did last year. So you're going to learn everything that you need to know in order to master the software. Now, another alternative to these softwares is a free alternative, which is Ilovepdf.com. So over here, you can do all sorts of different things when it comes to PDFs. You can merge PDF, you can split PDF, you can compress them, and also convert PDF to all sorts of different formats, such as JPEG, even Word, and all sorts of different programs, really. So this would be a free alternative. It runs on the cloud, so you might want to have good internet if you're dealing with heavier PDFs, but nonetheless, really good alternative, which is 100% free. Now, another alternative, if you're looking for a free editor of PDFs, is Smallpdf.com. And again, I think they have a free trial. I'm not sure if the Teams one is the paid one. I think it should be free for single users, but just double check on the website on that. But this would be the second website which I used to go a lot whenever Ilovepdf.com didn't yield the results that I wanted. Maybe I had a bad internet connection or whatever, and I wanted to try a second option. This would be my second go-to before discovering PDF Expert. So these are both really solid options. Now, when it comes to designing the PDF in the first place, if I don't have a base, I need to create a very intricate design, or maybe like a very branded design. I would usually design it in Sketch, and I would simply select an artboard, which is either US letter or A4, which is the format which we use here in Europe. And then I would select all of the artboards, and there's an options in Sketch under the file setting, which is export artboards to PDF. So that's going to essentially create a PDF, and then I would use either PDF Expert or one of the other softwares in order to make all of the edits and maybe like file compressions and those kind of things. So this will be pretty much it when it comes to PDFs, and I'm going to give you a live demo of PDF Expert in case you want to go with that option, which is the option again which I personally recommend. I think that although it's a paid option, it's a one-time fee, which is definitely going to pay off dividends since you're definitely going to use PDFs a lot during the year. So this is the live demo, and let's get started. So the very first thing which you can see is that as we open up PDF Expert, we have the option to actually either open a new file or you can literally like drag and drop a file. Now, if I actually drag and drop it, you can see that the entire area is going to be highlighted, and I can literally just drop the PDF and it's going to upload directly. Now I'm just going to undo this, so I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to use the select file over here, and I'm going to open it in this way. So essentially very easy to upload a document, and once you have it, the cool thing about it is that you can kind of tweak the views, and there's a few options which are key. So the first one is bookmark. So you can click with this icon at the top right corner of a page to add a bookmark, and this enables you to simply have the opportunity to go directly to that bookmark section, which can be useful. Now, another cool thing is the outline feature, and that essentially enables you to create an outline somewhere around the page. Now I'm going to zoom in so that you can see it, and if you click on add item, you can see that now I have a new outline. Now if I go down to another page and I click on 2, now you can see that I'm basically redirected to that very specific section which I outlined, which can be quite useful at times, especially if you want to have a few outlines. Maybe you're doing a client presentation and you want to have a few of these around the PDF, especially if you're working with a very long PDF. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Now there's also an annotation feature, and also a thumbnail view, which is the one which I use personally most of the time when I'm browsing and editing the PDF, because essentially this allows me to preview the actual pages. This is very similar to what Preview app on Mac has by default, so you're definitely going to be familiar with that already. Now there's a few options over here, so you can also edit the text. So for example, I can highlight it, and I can choose either one of these default colors, or I can click on the color wheel, and essentially I can create my own custom highlight color. And this of course can be very, very useful, especially when working with certain type of documents. And if you wanted to undo the highlighting, you can simply you can simply like click somewhere else so that you haven't selected anything, and you can click on a highlighted selection, and then use the back just the back key, and you're going to delete it right away. So pretty intuitive, pretty fast to delete anything that you don't want to have it highlighted. And yeah, and as you see in the suggested, you can also right click on the color, and you can literally change it from there. So you can have a certain amount of colors which are essentially edited and customized by you. Now there's a few other options. Let's get rid of the highlight and let's select everything. I can underline text. I can also put some stroke through effects. So some things are pretty basics. Depending on what you're going to use that PDF for, it's going to be either useful or not useful. It really depends on the type of project. Another feature is the pen tool, so I can literally like draw on the PDF. So let's say that you have perhaps an image and you want to make something very visible. That could be something which you can consider doing. And of course, you can modify the line width. So if you want a line width which is a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner, you can definitely do that. You can also modify the opacity, and again, same thing with the color. You can right click and change one of these default colors. So a lot of flexibility, and of course, if you have if you drew something and you want to erase it, you can click on the eraser tool. Very similar to what you're used with Paint, you can simply erase it. And if you click on the text tool, you can add some text on the PDF, which can be useful at times. And also you can use the rectangle tool to create some or highlight some specific sections. So as you can see, the tools are basic, but for most scenarios, this is going to be enough, and it's going to enable you to quickly modify PDFs, edit them, and really make some quick changes really fast. Now there's also a note tool, so you can simply click on a specific section, you can leave a note, and you're going to see this small note icon on the PDF, which you can also click and drag around if you want to change the place. And there's also a stamp tool, which allows you to add a stamp. Now, the great thing is that we have a few stamps by default, and some of these just cover some of the most basic scenarios, such as approved, not approved, draft, final, things that you might use a lot also with invoicing and things of that nature. But you can also use a custom stamp. So essentially a custom stamp is going to allow you to add any sort of graphics which you want inside the PDF. So this is pretty cool. And of course, with a PDF software, you cannot miss a signature area. So you can also add a signature. Now there's a few ways you can do that, and that PDF Expert enables you to do it. So the first one is to just type your name, and you're going to have a sort of digital type which emulates a signature. You can also change the color, of course, and this is the most basic type of signature. Now another cool thing is you can use the trackpad if you have one, and if you just click on it, you can literally just use your trackpad in order to create the digital signature. And of course you can also drag and drop or select an image file, which allows you to add a image of your signature. Now there's also the content selection tool, which basically is going to allow you to select the content, and for the most part this is it when it comes to the tools. So again, basic tools, but very flexible, very easy to use, and definitely this is going to allow you to work fast, which is very important. And if you need any really detailed graphic or design work, you can simply jump on your design tool of choice, and you can make all of the edits over there. Now, as you can see here, we also have a edit mode, and we can change the text of the actual PDF. So this is actually something which is very cool. So let's say that you receive a PDF from a client and you want to modify the actual PDF, but without creating extra content. You can literally just tweak the PDF content directly. You can also add an image, for example, and literally you have a lot of flexibility on the actual content of the PDF just from this section alone. Of course, there is a link option, so you can add a link either to a page or to a web page. So this is definitely something really cool. And there's also a redact tool. Now, one thing that I want to talk about is Also this view over here, which you can access by just clicking on these page thumbnails icon. And this is going to allow you to modify the order of the pages super fast, because as you can see, I can literally modify them by dragging and drop them around. Now, if I want to do some quick changes, so for example, if I want to get rid of this page, I can simply delete it by using the delete tool, the delete key. And I can also do things like rotating the page. I can also share just that specific page, and I can also extract it and just extract and essentially it's like an export option for just that specific page, or even that a set of pages, because I can simply click, drag around and extract these two pages into one PDF. So very intuitive, very fast to work with, and overall I just love how easy it is to use this tool, because it just everything is so clear, and yeah, it's just very easy to work with. Now I can also add a new page and start adding some new content. I can add images and so on. So this is definitely something which allows you to have quite a bit of flexibility and work fast, which is everything that you want when you're working with PDFs. You don't want to work. You don't want to take a lot of time figuring things out, and yeah, this is very important. Now another thing which is really cool about PDF Expert is the fact that you can either reduce the file size, which is something which I personally have had to do quite a few times, especially when working with clients. Maybe they're sending me huge PDFs and I want to send them back to them in a smaller size, or maybe I'm exporting a PDF from Figma or Sketch and the file size is just too big. So a really cool thing is just hopping on this file size menu, and I can literally select from one of these presets, lossless, high, medium and low, and essentially it gives me a quick win very fast, which is pretty cool. Now there's also a few other options. There's the share option, which allows you to share the PDF in quite a few mediums. So you can use mail, messages, AirDrop, notes, reminders, and there's more than that too. And I can also save as flatten. So this is essentially going to flatten the PDF. I can also show the PDF in Finder. I can set a password for that PDF in order to add an extra layer of security. And yeah, I mean, there's quite a few other options. I can also change the theme to something like sepia, or let me find the other one. I can use also night. So this is pretty cool. Just some quick wins, but solid ones overall. So yeah, guys, this